and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young.
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young.
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown lesson.
Young TV.
Now listen, you ain't gonna get past that $10 million range without giving them what they want. You see, in order to get down with Baal, you gotta commit abomination. Now let's go back, because this is Tell Our Vision. And they've been telling lies on our vision for quite some time now, which is a misrepresentation or a distortion of a false reality. Now you might say, what is the misconception or the misrepresentation that they're doing? Well, for instance, when they show us an ancient Egyptian movie, they never show us any Africans. And in fact, they never show us any Washita either, who are the real mound builders. This is what they're doing on TV. They even made Shaka Zulu into a pale man. These people are going crazy. You gotta wonder, who are these guys? Who are these guys that's so interested in telling us these lies? In order for you to understand about the Tell Our Vision, we must take you back to 1925 to a guy named John Blair and a man named Philo Farnsworth, who were both Bonarians, who had the idea to put people inside of a box. And keep in mind, the name Blair means a playing field, as in a playing field. And this created a situation in which the high power alchemists who have the spark becomes the artistes, those who have the power to draw things down. And in this drawing, they become known as the druids. You know, those who drew it. And the pen is the one, you know. And this is where we get our Hollywood. Now you will begin to understand the ramifications when I tell you that Quincy Jones is a druid. Now all this is going to start to make sense in a minute. Now keep in mind, during the 1940s, Hitler and the Nazi Party was doing mind control experiments, leading up to America getting a hold of this information through a thing called Project Paperclip on July 20th, 1945. You can go look these things up. Another interesting thing that happened is that the CIA started using or experimenting with mind control about around the same time. In 1947, they got good at it. 1953, they was full on blast with it. Now keep in mind, in 1947, on July 7th, the Roswell incident happened. Now, a lot of things were going around and the government wanted to create a distraction. And they remembered that they had this tube or this box that they could use to create a distraction. And from this, they began to say, okay, we can use the mind control technology and the mind control experiment using the TV, the television. So to distract the American people and to keep them from getting on to the game of Majestic 12 and later on the Order of the Jason Society, what do? They created a thing called Sitcoms. Now, if you know anything about mind control, you know that a part of mind control is hypnosis. A main part of mind control is hypnosis, right? And to get a good hypnotize or hypnosis on someone, you would want them to sit calm or sit still. And these hypnosis guys are sometimes referred to as, listen now, programmers. And these programmers are your druids, your wizards, your warlocks, your writers, your musicians, or magicians. You hear it? Your magi priests. Except the ones who took over Hollywood have chosen to go to the dark side. And they're waving their wands, Hollywood, back and forth, casting their spells to keep us in Wonderland or the land of Oz. But nevertheless, to keep the American people distracted from the Roswell crash, they came out with a sitcom called Mary Kay and Johnny, which aired in November 1947, 4 months right after the Roswell crash. And Mary Kay and Johnny were Venerians because they started putting these Venerians on TV first so that you would get used to them, right? And they can blend in right with us. Now, like I said, these sitcoms were incorporated to induce the MK Ultra hypnosis sector of the mind control operation, Operation White Rabbit. Also, may I point out the word air, right? Because that's gonna come back up later on in the show. So in 1947, America was hit with their first dose of CIA mind control through a thing called Sitcoms, through a box called television. And all this is going to tie back in to Quincy Jones, who was a writer, a druid, a person who drew it down, right? Of a lot of these sitcoms that came out to stimulate the Nubian principles on the land. And we're about to make the connections here. Now, another guy, may I point out, that was instrumental in putting the mind control behind Hollywood and instrumental in manipulating the brainwashing and the hypnosis into the sitcoms, a guy by the name of William Joseph Bryan Jr., right? Who was the American physician, and he was a pioneer of hypnosis for the government, pretty much, for the CIA, stemming after the Hitler paperclip thing. Also, may I add that Frank Sinatra and Bob Hope had deep connections with this guy in the industry. This guy, William Bryant, is the number one guy who is programming most of the actors during that time, right, in Hollywood and then Walt Disney, right? And he's training the directors to be able to, or the directors who most of them got to be certain level of degrees in the druid order in order to even be a director. Also, the icing on the cake is that this guy was one of the number one directors behind the scene on the movie called The Manchurian Candidate. Now, if you don't know what a Manchurian Candidate is, we linked the video in the description below called What is a Manchurian Candidate? And you can watch that video and it'll give you a better idea where we going with this thing. Now, so this guy is one of the number one master hypnosis in the game that wrote pretty much the whole script for them to pretty much keep control. And it starts with the Roswell crash, from them trying to cover that up and keep the people distracted, leading up to a whole bunch of stuff happening after that, since they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, right? So a whole bunch of stuff leading up after that to where they got to take control and keep the minds of the people. And so this is where, like I said, the sitcoms come in at, speeding up to Quincy Jones, who writes sitcoms. Now this is where it gets freaky at, because the people in Hollywood, for the most part, that control the director's chair and the movie scene and the music industry, pretty much are Baal worshippers. Now, one of the nicknames for Baal is the Six God, as in 666, the number of the beast. Now, we can get into what people talk about now is 666 carbon, right? We can get into that. But we're saying what they're using the energy for, right? They're using the energy for a negative, right? To go along with the sixth god, who is Baal, right? And you see Drake always talking about the sixth god. And you see Beyonce throwing up the six. And you see Trump throwing up the six. You see all these people throwing up this six sign, and it's representing Baal. Now, the question becomes, is Quincy Jones connected with Baphomet? Well, of course. Here's a picture of Quincy Jones throwing the two finger sign, the same sign as Baal. Here's another picture of him doing the two finger sign, the same sign as Baal. And Quincy Jones got high up on the in Baal worship, so that would mean that he went through the 11th degree of the Aleister Crowley ritual, which means you know what, which would explains all of the rest of the stuff that we're about to explain in this tape. Now, a lot of this stuff is old information. We just want to make the connections for you. Now, Quincy Jones was real good and then close friends with Will Smith. Some say it was more than just friends. Also, in the Holy Tablets, the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, connects Quincy Jones with the Greek god Pan, which connects him back to Baal. Now let's make some connections for you. Somebody say, Young, connect them. Quincy Jones was the main influencer in the Nubian writings of a lot of the Nubian sitcoms. And we already made the connection with the sitcoms and the MK Ultra mind control connection. Now, Quincy Jones was good buddies with Will Smith. And he was in tight with the director's chair in Hollywood, right? Because he's high up on the rank in the Baphomet with the sixth god. So the first movie, now listen now, the first movie that Quincy Jones get his good buddy Will Smith is called 6 Degrees of Separation. They go to number 6 again, as in the sixth god. Now, what you must understand about Baal, and for you newcomers that never heard of Baal, we're going to have a link in the descriptions where you can watch a whole tape on Baal and who Baal and Baphomet and what it's all about. Baal is their Lucifer. Baal is their Satan. And keep in mind, all of these were titles. Several people had that title before him, which is his grandfather, Halah and Tanush. Also, Baal is Adad, because Baal is a title as well. Adad is Enlil's son. Okay? We just want to make that clear of who they getting down with. Now, as part of the rituals to get down with Baal, you have to go deliberately against the rules of the Bible, or the rules that we had as the Israelites, or the children of Israel, the children of Enki. One of those rules were, in your grandma's King James version of the Bible, Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 5, where it reads, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination to the Lord thy God. So keep in mind, in order to get down with the sixth god, who is Baal, the Baphomet, you gotta go against the Most High God. You gotta commit an abomination.
Kevin Hart wearing a dress in the SNL skit, and Dave Chappelle spoke about that as a comedian. Black actors are always, being asked to wear dresses. Have you ran into that, and what do you think about that whole Illuminati theory that people put out there about that?
Well, thanks for that softball question. It's two answers. First of all, let's be very, very clear. It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress. And if that's the case, then it might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a black guy in a dress. Okay, well, I watched all of my friends throughout my entire life be able to dunk a basketball, but not me. So everybody can't do everything. So, some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is. So 20.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on. And what? This prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. The pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? We're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then like the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So then, wear the dress. I don't want to wear the dress. I want to wear this dress. You know what I mean? This is, oh gosh, this guy's so difficult. They leave. Now the producers comes, come on, David, would be so great. I mean, and then I started thinking about it. All the comics that I've seen, man, strong brothers, why they be putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. That comes back 10 minutes later, the whole new scene. Damn, how did you write the scene so fast? It's like, so you gotta take a stand.
Sound familiar? Right? Because when Obama was in there during the abomination, right, between 2008 and 2016, Obama passed a lot of the rainbow agenda stuff, right? Hence the word abomination. Keep in mind, the sixth God wants you to commit abomination against the Most High God. Another one that he likes to get you to do is Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22, where it reads, Thou shalt not lay with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is a confusion, right? So all these things are abomination to the Most High God. Also, not to mention, thou shalt not kill. You know, the 10 Commandments. So anything that goes against the 10 Commandments or goes against or that makes up an abomination in the scriptures of the Most High God, Baal or the sixth God wants you to do those things to prove your loyalty to him. A lot of people in the order of the Baphomet are forced to commit adultery because most of them are married, a lot of them, and they have to do these swinger parties and all these other crazy things. So Baal wants you to get down and bow down with him, and to prove your loyalty, like we said, he wants you to do the abomination. So we just want to give you the whole rundown, and we want you to keep that in mind as we go along. Now, being that Quincy Jones was down with Baal, and then he put Will Smith on with 6 degrees, the sixth God, 6 degrees of separation, to deliberately go against Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22 in that movie. He goes against Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22. Right in that movie. Right? Then, not to mention, Quincy Jones write a play for Will Smith called Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Now, who is Baal? Right? Ain't Baal, right? Like we said. And who is the Prince of the Air? Turn your grandma's King James Version of the Bible to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2, where it says, wherein the time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the powers of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of the disobedient, right? The people who follow the ways of Cain, follow the ways of Baal. It talks about that in Jude, right? So they follow the ways of Baal, the prince of the air, Baal-Air, right? And Quincy Jones goes out to write a play for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and it's called a sitcom. And what is it all about? Because he comes out of Philadelphia as an adolescent teen to come live in where? Bel-Air. And what is an heir? Right? An heir is somebody that inherits something or a bloodline. Why? Because Will Smith is connected to the 200 fallen angels going all the way back to the Smiths, the blacksmiths, because one of the 200 fallens taught his children how to be smiths, blacksmiths. And they became known as the Smiths. And we're going to get into the Wayans too, the Yahwehans, right? Because you got the Yahs and then you have the Ways, right? And all this is going to tie in together later. But keep in mind, like we said, Baal wants you to get down with him by breaking and going against the Most High God's rules and regulations. This is the game. He was an adolescent teen in that script who came from Philadelphia to sit on his throne as the Prince of Bel-Air. He says that in the cab when he pulls up, right? In the intro. So that whole script, and he's there to influence the other kids, right? With his influence, which is what Baal is all about. Influence. That's what these guys is all about. Influence. Controlling the influence. They are druids, right? Now, like we said, Baal wants you to commit these acts. Once you begin to understand Baal's game, you begin to see how it all plays out with Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5. And you'll begin to see why all of these people are now dressing like women. Men or have to dress up like women. The Martin Lawrence show, right? Jamie Foxx, Vane Rain, Kevin Hart, Tyler Perry, Ricky Smiley, Chris Tucker, Eddie Murphy. Not to mention the roses you see that these people ran. That's a whole nother connection with the Order of the Rose. Right? The list goes on of all of these brothers who have to deliberately go against the Most High God's words, Deuteronomy 22:5, in order to get down to show their alliance just so they can make money. And now you will begin to understand too also as well Matthew chapter 4 verse 4, or Matthew chapter 4, where Lucifer or Baal or Satan approaches Yeshua, Jesus, the Messiah, right? and tries to get him to serve him by going against the Most High's God's word, right? And so you begin to see this. So you'll see all these brothers dressing up in these dresses. This is deliberately to go against the Most High God. And the guys that's supposed to be writing this, some of them is Jewish guys. And I'm just saying, the guys who were behind Martin, John Bauman, who went to Harvard, who was a chairman at Pepsi Cola. And we all know that Pepsi's owned by the Illuminati. He wrote the Martin Lawrence show. And Martin had to dress up like a woman in the sitcom. Right? Keep in mind, we're talking about sitcoms here. Sitcom while we program you. Sitcom while we hypnotize you off of this terror lies on your vision. With the MK Ultra effect, you not even knowing that this is playing a part in your whole ideology and how you think just by watching these sitcoms. It's because we used to sit there as a kid and watch these things all day long. In the Martin Lawrence show, the ideology of making us think that lighter and brighter is better because he made fun of Pam. Pam really was the finer chick than Gina, right? Gina didn't have no butt to me, right? But Pam was the fine one, but Martin lifted up Gina, which was his girlfriend, and always beat down Pam and compare her to a beast of the field, right? And then they made Martin dress up like a woman to do his humiliation, which is a part of the Baal rituals. Baal wants you to go against Deuteronomy 22:5. That's part of his game and his rituals, okay? And it's a whole bunch of psychology that was being ran because these people run psychology of how Gina had a better job than Martin, subliminally. Gina dressed up into man uniforms. Gina wore suits instead of she wore Gina in that series wore man clothes. And we just told you that directly. So both, not only did Martin break the rules of Deuteronomy 22:5 in the sitcom, right? Sitcom while we program you. Gina broke the rules too by putting on man suits. It's all connected to Baal, right? So the scriptures will let you clearly identify who's working for Baal, right? Especially in the industry. They're always throwing up the horn sign, right? For the goat sign. They're always throwing up the 6 God sign, right? They're always dressing up in the opposite sex clothes, which deliberately goes against the Most High God. They're always they're doing sacrifice rituals where they sacrifice loved ones because the Most High God said, "Thou shalt not kill." And like I said, we could get more in depth. We could get more into it and more high level and say that we had those the 42 negative confessions. They're even going against that because Tahuti talked about the brothers of the darkness. For you people that don't say, "Oh, we ain't like the Bible." A lot of the rules that's in the Bible existed before the Bible. A lot of the rules that they're breaking. So is this not biblical? It goes back just as far as the universal laws and universal Islam. A lot of these rules that they breaking, right? So we just want to point that out to you so you can see who these guys are and what they are all about. They're about going against our Father in heaven, who is Anu, Elion El. But for one thing we know for sure, right? That we will forge for ourselves a new world order. Right? Not Baal's order. Baal is not no God. They worship gods of wood and stone. Our God, our Father, Anu, is a walking, living, breathing God. Not no God of no wood and stone. They got his 2 fingers up in the air. What's wrong with these people? That's not even Baal. They got the wrong image up there. They got some image they didn't put together that some other guys gave them, man. Or some dude named Pan. right? We'll get into that later. But that's what we wanted to share with you today. And we'll be back with some more bangers and some more heat, man. We love you all.